there guys, it's Gary here for GenVFX. Welcome back to another little tutorial, or a tip, or something, a one-by-one, who quite knows? I know, this time it's slightly different. Yes, I've been away for a week, I'm very sorry, I was very bogged down with work and couldn't get one in, and I do feel bad about that. However, it gave me a chance to think about what I wanted to do next, and lots of tutorials, lots of one-by-ones, and I know there's still things I've got to cover, but one of the things I did think about, one of the things I did notice was that sometimes I'm doing stuff during the tutorials, I'm not explaining what I'm doing, i.e. what am I doing to get to actually make things happen? How am I moving things around? How am I getting to different places? And I wanted to basically what I want to do is go through my personal top 10 of stuff that I use regularly in Blender. And so I sat down and I've worked out a list, and I'm going to go from 10 to 1 from, they're pretty much all 1 if you think about it, 1 being like the best. But I've kind of put them in a kind of order of stuff of how I go about doing things, and what I'm going to do is we're going to just go from 10 down to 1, 1 being my absolute fave, and it actually is my absolute fave of all the tools. So let's begin. So the first tool, the first tippy tip tool, is the most simplest one of them all, and I know it sounds ridiculous, but it really is. I'm going to go to face mode, and I'm going to go E, and I'm going to extrude. That's it. It sounds daft. It's just the extrude tool, but everything I do at some point seems to feel as if it starts with an extrude. And you know, you just extrude it, and then maybe you'll scale it down, then extrude a bit. Oh, maybe you'll scale that a bit and extrude. And I know it's a little bit infancy, but it is like E to extrude, S to scale. And you know, the guy's brilliant, and he does some amazing stuff. And you know, he's absolutely right. E to extrude, S to scale. Whoops, that was too close. But yeah, that's my number 10. Number 9, we have another one that's on the same line. Let's go very quickly into edit mode. And this one is in fact I, and that is an inset. And that's because in conjunction with E to extrude, you can actually do some pretty high detail-y kind of stuff. So if I go inset now there again, and we'll extrude up, and then we'll inset again, but only a smaller amount, and then we'll extrude down a little bit, and then we'll inset again, and we'll extrude up a little bit, and then we'll inset again with I, and then E, and then pull down. There you go. And it's just, you can generate, you know, very good detail stuff quite quickly. And that kind of brings us on quite neatly. So number 8 is basically beveling. So I'm going to use this thing that got left over from my insetting one. So I'm going to basically just move across here to the edit mode, and then I'm going to pick 1, 2, 3, those 4 there, and Control B on the keyboard. So there you go. It's just really nice and quick, and then I can just let go of that, and I can pop open that tool and go, do you know what? I want the width to be bigger. I want more segments. I want it to be rounded, and let's push it up so it's even more rounded. Oh yeah. And it is, again, one of those little tools that you just use and use and use and use, and I absolutely love it. So that's Control B, so I can just press the wrong button. So I'm going to Control B there, but then it's like, well, I don't want to do that. That's what I wanted to do actually, was I wanted to like crush these corners at these points. So I want to press, and I pick my vertices, and I go Control Shift B, and I can do that with them. So I actually do it to the corners, and that, you know, is that, again, that's like kind of, you know, one of the best things you can do, because you can actually, you know, do like a little hard one, for what a better expression, or you can do a patch fill. So you've got really just nice controlling tools, and you can do some really fancy things just with Control B. It's fab. So the next one, of course, is probably everyone's favourite, at least I think it's everyone's favourite, and it is putting in an edge loop, which is Control R. You press Control R, you pick where you want it to go, and then of course you can use the mouse. Whoops, let's go back. But we can go Control R, move it over, and then roll the mouse, and then it's not doing what I want it to do. I don't know. Let's try that again. New scene. don't say. Leave it running. And of course, then the other one, which of course is an all-time favourite, is of course, without further ado, it is indeed, yes, the edge loop. Now, obviously, it's the button down here, but also it's just Control R. So, you know, we're in face mode or whatever, and let's put us on a different tool. We'll go Control R, and then we can pick where we want it. And let's pop it there. And the loop cup inside, then here we can boom, 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 boom. You can also have it set up on your mouse, so you just roll up your mouse button and the middle mouse button, and that will make it actually generate the amount that you want. And you go, okay, fine, well, let's do that. And then you Control R again, and you pop it there in the middle, and then you can go da 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 da, and you've got all those lovely, lovely edge loops. And that's a great way of throwing in shape, just to a point where you can then say, right, okay, well, let's do that. And then we'll press that and extrude up. And then we'll go to the edges there. And of course the edges are selected, but we'll just do it this way and go bump, 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 bump. And edit. There we go. And then we can go Control B. And of course, you got that bevel tool. You've got all these little things that you can do very, very quickly to generate some really, really nice stuff. That's just great. So there you go. Basically, that's 9, 10, 7, and 8 are Extrude, Inset, Control R, and Control B. So they're all edit tools, basically. They're all very quick ways of the edit tools. At number 6, here we go. We have another one of the absolute favorites. And that is how to select stuff. At the moment, that's just selecting vertices because it's only on vertices. If I want to, I can have the click up here. So I get an edge loop. Click an edge loop or an edge. But if I press 2 on the keyboard, not on the number panel, but on the keyboard, that changes it over to edges. And then if I press 3, it allows me to pick faces. So 1, 2, 3. And if you're holding on to something like a face, you press 3, press from 3 to 2. You've now suddenly got all those selected edges. So I could quite easily do a Control B on those and bevel those out. Or if I wanted to, I could press 1 and then go Control Shift B, and I can bevel out those corners. So you've got this nice way of controlling, and if you're on one form, you can pop across the other quite easily in edit mode. Also, of course, edit mode, just getting in and out of edit mode, pressing the tab key. I'm going to use that as part of this one, pressing the tab key. So it's just up here, edit mode, press the tab key out of object mode to edit mode. And then 1, 2, 3, there you go, cycling through them all. Really quick, really useful. And that's what it is mostly. It's how to do things quickly and usefully. And then from here, we will go on to number 5. So number 5, I'm going to very quickly just do something here. I'm just going to go Shift D and move that up, and Shift D and then move that. Shift D is an easy shortcut. Everyone pretty much knows that. It's lovely. But what also is very lovely is how to control the camera views, so you can see things as you're moving around, and how you put them and where you put them. I've got you. That is because I'm using on the number pad. Unfortunately, I'm left-handed, which means my right hand is now resting over the number pad's numbereth. So I've got here a bunch of blocks, and I'm pressing 1 on the number pad, and I see it from the front. I press 3 on the number pad, and I see it from the right. And if I press 7, I see it from the top. And it's a very nice, quick way of very quickly manipulating your views. Also, here's the good thing. If I toggle out of that, I just spin out of that, it immediately goes to perspective. But if I press 5 on that middle of that number pad, that changes it to orthographic, which is very nice as well. And then you can also toggle in and out of perspective and orthographic with 5 in any other view. Very useful. Now, that's obvious, we know this. But did you know that 8 actually spins vertically around your object? So it's kind of saying whatever is the origin or whatever you're currently looking at, I will spin around that object. You can change that, but this is currently doing it around the origin. And then if you press 4, that will take you to the left. If you press 5, that will spin you to the right. And you'll also notice that it's in set increments. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 will take you all the way around 0 degrees to 90 degrees. It's just a nice, simple little system. Not even difficult, just lovely, lovely, lovely. But then you think that's good. If you go press 1 and then I press 9, I go from the front to the back. So if I go top, 7, and then press 9, I'm now looking at it from the bottom. So if I go 3 and I am now looking at it from the right and then I press 9, I'm now looking at it from the left. So you can actually manipulate yourself around really, really quickly, particularly if you're building something on one side and you're not mirroring. You can go literally, I'm building something here on the right hand side. Let's just, I want this here. Go to the front view, say, well, I just want that there. And you say, well, let's just go to the back view and let's just move that out there because that's where it really needs to be. I can't quite see from the front because it's behind. We've got all that control, and it is just lovely. It's very, very quick, very, very fast. Okay, so at number 4, we have something which is it's an add-on tool, but it is very much here in the right-hand press. You see, if you've got you've selected a load of points and stuff, you can do all sorts of things. You can randomize the vertices. You can sort of like smooth the vertices. There's all these lovely things that are here. But something else in here which is really, really useful, and I just need to, let's just go to that top view by pressing 7 just to prove the point. And I'm going to move these vertices out like this so they're a little bit higgledy-piggledy. There are some really nice tools which are an add-on which is just generally turned off. And I turn it on the moment I start up any version. In fact, generally I just copy my preferences from the previous one. But if I've gone somewhere and there's no preferences, or if I'm doing something on someone else's machine, I'll go to the add-ons. So we'll go preferences, and we will go here to the add-ons, and I will type in loop. And in there we've got the mesh loop tools. Now these are fantastic. Very simple, but they're a very, very big addition to your modeling workflow, particularly my modeling workflow. So what I'm going to do, for example, I'm going to drag over these particular vertices you can see here. Now they're all unevenly spaced. I don't want them unevenly spaced, I want them spaced. So I'll go loop tools, and then I will go space. And what that does is it makes them all equidistant between the ones you've selected. So I'll select that one, and if I press Control and then click on the next one along the loop. Come on. Just, here we go. There we are. It will now do equidistant between those. So we go Control, we go loop, and we go space. And that now spaces those along as best it can. What you could also do is, if things are a little bit messy like they are here, you can say, well, I want to just smooth them again, but not in the way that you would think it has to be, basically along the feel of the line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select those ones, and I'm going to go loop tools, I'm going to go relax, and that kind of smooths them but kind of keeps them in that same general feel. So it's a nice way of just moving things along a bit, making them feel as though they're a bit more consistent. So if I pick all these, by the way, it's another little tool, but I'll just mention, if you press Control and you're going around, you collect on an edge or on a face or on a vertex, and then you work your way along and you press Control on the one that you want as the last one, it will select the entire line in between. If you press Alt and pick one, it will pick the actual loop itself, and it depends very much on how you picking the line like this, and there you go, it picks all the verts. So if I pick, let's go back to what I was just going Control to here, and then Shift to that one, and then Control, and then Shift on that one, and then Control, and then Shift on that one, and then Control. I can relax all of those in relation to each other, and I can even just basically just sort them out. It's just lovely. There's other tools in there as well. There's Bridge, which is just a bridging tool. There's Curve, which basically moves it along in relation to a curve. You can see how it takes them and goes, right, oh, you want them to do that. Follow that line of structuring. It's very, very clever, but not necessarily always very, very useful. So let's just pick these again. In fact, let's just do it this way. Do that. There we go, space. Swipe over those. Space. Swipe over those. Space. Swipe over those, space. It just means it starts to get the shape that you want, gets it back to where it was, but also, and this is by far the best, I think, out of all these bits, is I do this, select those, I'll go circle, and it just makes you a circle. And if they're not quite sure that it's right, you can adjust the angle, so make it just there. You can change it whether it's fitting inside the area of those ones you picked, or whether it's the best fit one, which is that one. You know, you can also use a radius and just take it in and out in relation to where you want, which is fine. And then of course you can reduce the influence. So you can actually say, right, here's my patch. I don't want it to be a circle. I actually want this shape, but I can't get to that shape naturally well. So I'll just go to a circle and then tweak it back. It's a great little tool. The loop tools, always have them, always turn them on. They are fantastic. So that's number 4. Straight in at number 3. Haha! Here we go. Number 3 basically is a shortcut that I found by accident. I meant to hit the star key. Don't even know why I wanted to hit the star key, but I went to hit the star key. Or maybe I went to hit 8, I'm not sure. And accidentally I hit the / button on the number pad. And if you press that button, it solos out and basically isolates the one object that you have that you're working on. And oh my lord, that has become a revelation. If you've got a lot of stuff in your scene and you just want to work on one thing, it's like, I just want to work on this one here. So you press that, you then go into your edit mode and you say, right, okay, I'm going to pick these, I'm going to pick this edge loop, I'm going to pick this edge loop, I'm going to go Control B, and I'm going to pull back like this, and then I'm going to basically press, I'm going to go back to polygon mode, and I'm going to press Alt and click there on the rim of that to pull it out. I'm then going to press E to extrude that, and then I'm going to do the same with these faces here. Let's just pull these faces here, and I'm going to go, let's just do a bunch of stuff at the same time. Circle, there you go, that's a perfect circle now. And then I'm going to extrude, I'm going to push this, oops, I'm going to push that in like that, and let's pick these 4 here, and let's just pull these out in that way, like that. So we're always just generating lots of little bits like this. You're just doing little funky things. You say, well, okay, no, let's not do that. I don't like doing that. Let's pull that to there. That's fine. And we're getting things fixing themselves all over the place. Don't merge. I know what that is. I got merge. Hey, auto merge on. Also very useful. So there you go. That's that. And then you press, and you come right back out. You're back in object mode. And then you can think, right, okay, well that's cool. That's cool. I've worked on one little thing, but maybe I want to work on another little thing. So you go in and you press and you work on just that, and you come back out by pressing it again. Absolutely wonderful. And you've got to turn anything off. There's a little self isolate button that you can work on in edit mode, or indeed, I think it's in object mode as well. Let's do it. There you go. It's just object mode as well. It's great. Can't beat that. Nice, simple, efficient. Number 2, I'm going to stick with this scene, why not? The absolute favourite thing that I have, as far as I'm concerned, that's absolutely by far the best thing here, it's something which is so simple and yet is just so useful. And I don't know actually if anybody else, any other software actually does this, but I mean it probably does, but I haven't found it in any that I've done. Please, if you know of anything in particular where this is the case, then please tell me, because I would love to know. So I'm going to set the origin to the geometry on that object there. I mean, I could do it on all of them actually, to be perfectly frank. Let's just do it. I need to do it anyway. So let's pick all of those. Let's go set origin to geometry, so that the origin is all down to each piece of geometry. And I'm happy with that, but I need to move that one and that one. Let's move them both, and I want to move them. I want to translate them 1 unit in the Z. Now, I could drag and hope that I get it right, and once you start to move, you can see values changing, and I can go, well, no, I'm not happy with that. I just want to go. I just want to translate those 2 pieces -1 in the y-axis. So go G Y -1, and they are now 1 unit away from where they were. I want to move, and then I want to rotate. I want to rotate this. I want to rotate this around the x-axis by 20. Okay, well, let's go RX 20, and then I'll go. I want to scale it to half the size, so I'll go S 0.5, and there you go. It's just reset itself. Let's try again. S 0.5. There you go. That is now done to exact dimensions, which is the best thing, one of the best things in the world. If all software just did that, I'd be a very happy bunny. I mean, it would be great, wouldn't it, if it automatically just put everything, you know, in a special little place exactly where you want it, just by typing it in. Oh, I want to move that in the Z by 2. Let's just go GZ2. There you go, GZ2. How easy was that? How easy was that? Oh, and then of course I'll isolate it as well. No, I won't. And finally, my absolute favourite tool. It's the Poly Build tool. Yes, it is the Poly Build tool. I'm here at the moment looking at a very, very poorly made head. I know I made it myself in about 7 seconds flat. It's just, I mean, as you can see, like totally unfinished. But the point is, I just wanted something that I can retopologize, and that's where we get into this whole shebang of using the retopologizing tool, Polybuild. I mean, it isn't really for necessarily just for retopology, but there's a retopology workflow you can use with it, which is brilliant. It doesn't take long. So what I'm going to do in this scene, what have I got? I've got a camera, I've got a light, and I've got this quad sphere that I've made. So let's call it Beast Head. And I am going to go in here and go add mesh. I'm going to make it a plane, and you can see it kind of just goes where it goes. Obviously, that's where I've put the origin there. But that's not the origin point, but that's where it obviously was with the beautiful little cursor, and so it's built it there, which is actually quite useful. It looks like a very square tongue, doesn't it? Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into edit mode by pressing tab. I've got the whole thing selected, so let's rotate it in the X by 90 degrees. So we go RX90, there you go, and then let's go S.2 to make it 1/5 the size. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to object mode, because the object is in the middle of that. I'm going to pull that out so it's there. And do you know what I'm going to do? Actually, I'm going to go into edit mode. I'm just going to go, let's go GX minus 0.2. There you go. So that moves that basically to the origin. Let's just have a quick look. There you go. It's moved it just past the origin now. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to very quickly, I've got snap on, and I've got snap set to face, and also set to project onto self and back face culling. So what that basically means is, in fact, let's turn off project onto self. It's not absolutely necessary. And so what we're going to do is, if I basically take this point here, you might notice that immediately it snaps to this geometry, because it's snapping to any geometry that's nearby to it, because that's what it's doing. It's snapping to the faces. It's very good. It's very handy like that. But as you can see, it's kind of sitting now somewhere inside of that. So what I want to do is I want to make it so it doesn't actually do that. Let's go back to object mode for a second. Let's pick our plane, and let's go into the object itself. And in viewport disability, we're going to turn on in front. That just basically means that it will always be, even though it's inside the object, it'll always look like it's in front of the object, and that's great, because it means we won't have the mistake of seeing things inside. Even though they are inside, it'll be cleaned up. Let's go back now to edit mode, and I'm going to change. I'm actually on the Poly Build tool now, you might notice, and I'm going to move this point down here. Notice it's blue, and that it also points at the edges. So as I move this down here, you can see it now seems to be a bit more like the actual geometry. And let's say we were trying to build a mouth. Well, first things first, let's go and add the mirror modifier, because that's always one of the best ones. Always one of the best. And I'm going to turn on clipping here, so if I do that, bump and bump, that's now locked on either side to match with the one in the mirror. It's great. So when they're all joined together like that, you can now see that we're getting, not that it matters whether they're joined together or not, you can see that with the Poly Bridge tool, Poly Build tool even, you get these blue little marks that appear when you're near an edge or far a vertex. That will actually pick it up and move it. If it's a vertex, if you go to the edge and just click, it will build you another polygon. And again, and again. And so you can see that these are now snapping to that actual surface edge. So I can drag this out, and then drag this along here, and drag this along here, and drag this along here. And all of these work also in conjunction with the other tools in the set. Now there is a little bit of, so you can actually use any of the other tools we've talked about as well on the editing side. For example, I can put in an edge loop in here, for example. So if I press Ctrl R, I can drop that in. But because of the way we have the snapping tool on, it kind of doesn't want to put it in the middle. It wants to put it somewhere which basically is snapping to a face. So we click on that, and with the loop and slide tools up, we change the factor to 0, and it puts it back in the middle. We can then basically go back to our Poly Bridge tool and just move it, because essentially we're still in the Poly Bridge tool, and that will make it all work so much better. So yes, edge loops as well. Also, you can do any other thing involved. Obviously, that pulling of a vertex to make an edge is great. And of course, you've got a snapping tolerance there. Now, actually, what we have there is an auto merge set on this that's far too tight. So let's make that 0.2 so I can bring this around here. There we go. And then do that to there, and then do this to here, and pull that there, and then to there. So you can see how it works. Now, obviously, it works, as I said, in conjunction with other tools that we've already used. So I've used the Control R tool. I know this feels a little bit like we're going back, but also, if we're in edit mode, if I press 3 and then I press on, if I click on that tool, and which is essentially our default move tool, and I click that face, if I press Shift D and I drag, and I let go, that kind of shifts it into place roughly. It kind of moves it in relation to the skin. You can see that, but it's not moving, obviously, the vertices, so it's working basically on the normal of the object. So if we then change back to the polybridge tool, and then we move those around, now that's back on the surface. And then, of course, what you can also do is you can select this, come out of the polybridge tool again, and we can go and press 2, and go this, and go this, and we can either, this is a good thing, we can either go loop tool bridge like that, or we can just go down to, in the main, because we're in the main tool set, we can just go bridge edge loops, or quite frankly we just hit F. F basically also does the same sort of thing. So if I pick on those two and press F, and then pick that one there and go, let's go fill, 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 and that fills them all the way down there. And also means that that bit is wrong because that's a triangle. We don't want to we don't want that really, so let's just leave that there. And then we can look at that and go, right, let's just very quickly, let's go Control R, set that back to 0, Control R, set that back to 0, obviously because of the snapping, he's snapping it to places. And put one in there, and then again, same thing, set that to 0, put that there, and then put that to 0, back in the middle. And then let's go back to the loop tool, and then we can just go, let's just manipulate some of these. But it's really good. And then, even the best thing is if you press Control, you can then drag out from a corner another polygon. So again, it's just good, and it's quick and efficient. And if I do that to there and then let go close enough to that one because of the auto merge on the tool, it kind of sticks it all together. Really nice and neat. And then I can go up to here and do that, and then up to here, and so let's get that into the corner with the Control and do that. And then let's bring that up there. And then we can do again bottom corner and do that. And you very, very quickly you can build up your modeling, your topology. It's no need to a topology. Terrible joke. But then if I do something wrong, I say, oh, I don't want that one. You press your finger on Shift, you click, and you can click it away. And if you click on a vertex, it gets rid of the vertex and anything connecting to it. So in that case, it gets rid of the edges as well. Obviously that's wrong, but as I say, you get the picture. And it's just really, really quick, sweet way of building. And it's a lot more efficient than the old method, which was much to do with shrink wrapping and things like this. This draws it, so basically snapping it to the face of another object. And then when you're done, you just bake the mirror. I mean, it's the only thing you need to do because everything else is kind of done. So that's my favourite tool, Polybuild. That's it. That's my top 10. That is my top 10. I'm sure you've got different top 10s. That's the way things are. Everyone's a bit different. But yeah, that's it. It's cool. And we're all the way through. And we did it. Yay! I'm so pleased. So anyway, if you like that, if that's been of any use to you, I'm really chuffed. And I hope you get to use those tools yourself. They are all very, very good in terms of modelling tools. I think that's mainly how I feel about this. I know Blender is very, very good for all sorts of things. It's excellent for modelling and excellent for UVing. Anyway, that's enough from me. Please subscribe. Don't forget to click the little bell to get your notifications. These are generally every single week. It has been a delay because of work, as I've said, or other things that have been getting in the way. But I do hope that you do come back and follow and well, just follow me. Keep an eye out for me. I'm around somewhere. I've got a website which is genvfx.com, and then I've also got the Instagram feed which has got practically nothing on it, but I need to do something about that. And then also I do a podcast with a mate of mine called John called The Grafters Podcast, and with that, and that's grafter spelled with an f rather than a f.
Grafters, GRAPHTERS podcast.com, and we do a bi-weekly podcast where we interview people who work in the industry, be it in games, or be it in the education industry, or be it in TV or film. And as well as having episodes where it's just a vanilla episode where it's just the two of us, and we talk all sorts of stuff. Anyway, take care guys, speak to you all soon, and bye.